guys, how's it going? This is Airplane Mode and I'm here once again with the Zibo 737-800. Today we are going to be flying Alaska Airlines Flight 1592 with non-stop service to Palm Springs International Airport. Once again, the plane is fully started up so we can get into the cockpit, finalize a few things, and get ourselves underway. Alright guys, welcome aboard Alaska Airlines Flight 1592 with service to Palm Springs International Airport. Total flight time for today is about 1 hour and 35 minutes with 163 passengers on board and a cruising altitude of 37,000 feet. To begin, we can run through the FMC and then do the MCP panel and go ahead and call the pushback. Right, as you guys can see, we are down here at our FMC, so we can go ahead and run through this. As you guys can see, we are departing out of San Francisco International Airport and arriving at Palm Springs as Alaska Airlines Flight 1592. Once again, there's no company route associated with today's flight, so with that we can move to our departure and arrival index. As you guys can see, for our departure, we are departing on the Wesla 3 departure with the Lawson transition out of runway 28 right, and we are arriving on this Bono 1 with the BLH transition, and we are doing an RNAV for runway 31 left with the PSP transition. Now we can move to our legs page. Obviously, our longest waypoint, 292 nautical miles, which is where we will be cruising at 37,000 feet, and obviously just continuing along our route. So that pretty much leaves us with the MCP panel, and then we can call for our pushback. Alright, now that we are here at our MCP panel, we can go ahead and turn on our auto throttle. We can put our V2 speed of 132 knots for today. Our runway heading is already set, 284 for runway 28 right. We can arm our LNAV and our altitude is already set, so that pretty much leaves us with just the pushback. So we can go ahead and finalize a few things on the overhead panel and call up our pushback truck. Alrighty, so to begin, we can go ahead and turn our fuel pumps all on. We can turn our electric hydraulic pumps to their on position just like so. We can turn our anti-collision light on, and we can go ahead and set our trim of, for today, 4.31, so we can go ahead and set that now, 4.31. Looks good about there, and with that, we can go ahead and call for our pushback so we can release our parking brake, which also serves to clear all of our trucks outside. So we can go to flight, show ground handling window, and we are going go ahead and do a straight pushback. Once again, guys, I do not trust the engine start with
sending push cart now
with the default pushback, so I'm just going to wait until we are completed with our pushback to actually start our engine. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Alright, one more thing we can do is we can set our packs to the off position for engine start, and with that we can actually get going. So we can release our parking brake and get rolling. Alright guys, now that our pushback has been completed, we can go ahead and set our parking brake. We can clear this ground handling window, and we can get starting our engine. So we can go ahead and start engine 2 first, so we can set that to the ground position and watch for 25%. There's 25%. We can go ahead and put our start switch to idle, and we can put our FMC back to the legs page and wait for engine 2 to start up. Alright, engine 2 has started up, so we can start engine 1, so we can put engine 1 to the ground position and wait for 25%. Alright, there's 25%. We can go ahead and set that to idle, and once again wait for engine 1 to start up. Alright, now that our engines have both successfully started up, we can go ahead and continue with our checklist. So we can turn on our engine generators, we can turn our Pro-P switches on, we can turn our packs back to auto, we can put our isolation valve back to auto, and we can shut off our APU bleed and shut off our actual APU. Also at this time we can set our flaps to 5, and we can wait for those to set. And now that those guys are set to flaps 5, we can go ahead and test our flight controls. So we can set this to the systems page, and we can go fully back, fully forward, fully left, fully right, and we can go for our rudder fully left and rudder fully right. And that is pretty much it for our flight controls. We can go ahead and set this back to the engine section just like so. We can turn our taxi lights and our runway turn off lights all on. We can release our parking brake and we can get out of here. Alright, we can perform ourselves a little bit of a brake test, so we can go ahead and tap our brakes. They look to work fine, so that is pretty much it. We can go ahead and turn on our auto brakes to RTO and continue taxiing to runway 28 right. Alright guys, so one more thing we can do at this time is put our engine start switches to their continuous position, and with that we are set for our taxi. Alright guys, now that we are approaching runway 28 right, we can begin to slow down here, and we can stop. We can set our parking brake, we can turn our landing lights all on, we can turn our runway turn off lights and taxi lights off. We can put our position light to strobe and steady, and we can also turn on our weather radar so we can see exactly what's going on in front of us. And with that, we are cleared for takeoff, so we can release our parking brake and taxi onto runway 28 right. It looks clear to the left and looks clear to the right, so that all looks nice. Now that we are on runway 28 right, we can go ahead and just do a rolling departure so we can stabilize our engines at 50. Right there, and full throttle. Our speed's alive. 80 knots, cross check. And rotate. Back here. Positive brake gear coming up. Alright, we can go ahead and put our vertical speed up to 2,000 feet. So when we're ready, we can just hit the speed button. There we go. 1,000 feet. We can drop the nose a little bit here. And there's 1,500 feet. We can retract our flaps, and we can put our auto brakes back to their off position. And at this time, we can also go ahead and set our speed to 250 knots. There. We can set our speed, and we can go to vertical speed and let our autopilot take commands there. Set our autopilot there. And I would call that for sure a good departure out of San Francisco. Alright, now that we are approaching 10,000 feet, we can go ahead and switch all of our landing lights off. We can put our engine start switches back to auto. We can turn our position lights to strobe and steady. We can turn our logo lights off, and we can turn our seatbelt signs off, and that is it until 18,000 feet. So I will see you guys then. And now that we are crossing through 18,000 feet, we can go ahead and set our altimeters to standard. Set both of them to standard, just like so, and we can increase our speed to 280 knots, and that pretty much leaves us done until descent. So I will see you guys then. Okay guys, I just want to give you a little bit of a flight update. This is the best thing that's ever happened in this flight so far. As you guys can see, we have a total push of wind, so that means that we are going to be getting to our destination a lot quicker than as planned. I mean, look how fast we're going. So, I don't know, I just wanted to give you guys this little update. This is truly incredible. So, once again, guys, I will be seeing you at top of descent. It is now time to start our descent. Even though we are not at top of the descent yet, this waypoint here wants us to descend to 19,200 feet. So we can go ahead and set that in our altitude right now, 19,200 feet. Right there. And we can go down at about 2,000 feet per minute just to go ahead and descend a little bit quicker than we usually do. Also at this time we can set our engine start switches to their continuous position. And we can turn on our fasten seatbelt sign, and that is it until we reach 19,200 feet. Alright guys, we are not at 19,200 feet yet, but we do have to go down to 11,100 feet. Sorry, 11,000 feet right here. And we are going to increase our rate of descent to a very steep 3,000 feet per minute, as we do have to get to 11,000 feet for this waypoint here, so we've got to hurry up this descent. I'm going to go ahead and deploy some speed brakes to assist in this, so we are able to slow down a little bit during the descent, and that is pretty much it until 11,000. Guys, once again, we are told to go down here to 5,900 feet for the below, so we can set that in our altitude section right here. Right there, and I'm also going to reduce my speed to 220 knots, and hopefully that gets us slowed down a little bit. And with that, we are going to continue our ascent. Alright guys, now that we are pretty much crossing through 18,000 feet, we can go ahead and take our altimeters out of their standard mode. We can set the current altimeter at Palm Springs, which is 3023. We can set that right there and just continue our descent. Also at this time I am going to be setting my speed to 210 knots, as that is what the FMC is telling us to do, so we can go ahead and set that right there. Right, so also at this time I am going to be reducing my rate of descent back up to 2,000 feet per minute, as we are pretty much okay now for our descent path. Okay, so right now I am going to go down to my FMC, and I'm going to be setting my approach ref, so as you can see our gross weight is 110.2. So that would mean that we are going to be doing a flaps 40 landing, and that would leave us with a VREF of 127 knots. So that will be our VREF for today. We can just go ahead and copy this. So 122 knots plus 5, 127, which once again will be our VREF for today. Also, we can go ahead and set our position lights to strobe and steady right there. Okay guys, once again I'm going to be dropping my descent back to 3,000 feet, because now that I see it, we are not going to reach our altitude restriction at 2,000 feet per minute, so that's why I just increased it. Since we just crossed through 10,000 feet, we can go ahead and put our landing lights all on, and we can turn our runway turn-off lights to their on position. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull some flaps. So I'm going to set my flaps to flaps 5, and I'm going to put my auto brakes on 2 for maximum stopping power. And I'm going to go ahead and shallow out my descent once more. So I'm just going to set this to 1,800 feet per minute, so we can go ahead and slow our rate of descent. Alright, I'm going to be setting now my speed to 160 knots. Once again, increase our rate of descent by 100 feet. Now that we are about 10 nautical miles from the airport, I'm going to go ahead and drop my gear and set my flaps to 15, as well as drop my speed to 150 knots. And at this time as well, I'm going to be going ahead and arming my speed brake. So we can go ahead. Our speed brake is now armed, as you guys can see. Alright, I'm going to be going ahead and setting flaps 30. And at this time as well, I am going to be disengaging my autopilot and my auto throttle, so now I have control of the airplane and I can go ahead and try to land. And now I'm going to be setting flaps full. Perfectly on the glide slope right now, don't want to lose that, so I'm just going to be constantly making little adjustments.
1,000.
That's feet. A little bit to the right, that's alright. Just go ahead. Increase our speed and our altitude a little bit. Glide slope.
400. 300. Minimums.
Ending.
200.
Speeding our nose a little bit.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20, 10.
Nose. And we are down, guys. Welcome to Palm Springs. Reverse thrust. 60 knots. We can go ahead and go manual braking. I'll just let the plane coast for a little bit. Alright guys, welcome to Palm Springs. We can go ahead and put our flaps up. We can put our speed brakes back up. We can turn our auto brake off. Take this taxiway right here. Alright, we can turn our Pro key switches off right now. We can turn our landing lights off. And we can turn our taxi lights on and our runway turn-off lights off. Also, we can start our APU. Right there. And we can turn our engine start switches back to their auto position and just continue taxiing to the ramp. Going to today be parking at gate 5, which is right next to that Alaska Airlines plane over there. Alright, we can begin to slow down a little bit here. And I've had troubles with the marshalers here before, so I don't know if he's going to pick up my plane signal, but we'll see. He's not, so we'll just marshal ourselves in. We can go ahead, stop right here. It's good enough. We can set our parking brake. We can turn our AP generators on, and we can go ahead and shut down both of our engines. We can turn off our fasten seatbelt signs. We can turn our anti-collision lights off. and we can turn our fuel pumps off except for this left forward fuel pump right here. And that is pretty much it for the plane in its turnaround state. We can go ahead and clear this master caution, shut off our IRSs, and that is pretty much it. Guys, this is going to be the end of the video. I would love to thank each and every one of you guys for watching today. The total flight time was 1 hour and 5 minutes. As always, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more, and as always, be sure to click that bell symbol so that you never miss a new airplane mode video. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.